Hi, Tim Yao here, Community Pioneer in Roundhouse Park and Cringleford, and welcome to your assembly this week. This term, we have been looking at the theme of compassion. And remember, compassion is when you feel something for somebody else and it moves you into action. Now, when we look at our neighborhood, our community where we live, and think about, oh, how can I be compassionate? We look around and actually Cringleford is quite a nice place to live. Of course, there's always going to be something like, a bit of litter or maybe a bit of dog poo or something like that. And it can always be better. But generally, people around our area are, doing okay. So when it comes to the idea of compassion, you may look around and go, well, there's nobody who maybe needs my help. So, I might not bother. Why bother? Everything's okay. Everyone's all right. So let's leave it. But you know what? We are not just a village on its own. We are part of a bigger city, Norwich, which is part of the county of Norfolk, which is a part of the country of the United Kingdom, and that which is part of Europe and the whole world. So although our little patch might be all right, and when we think about compassion, thinking, well, we're all right. But when we think of the world, well, that is a different picture. So to help us think about how compassion for the world beyond our own neighborhood and beyond our own homes, what if we thought of the world as 100 people? So let's watch this video. And as we're watching it, I wonder if there's anything that you notice, anything that jumps out at you, anything that you go, wow, I did not know that. And especially when we think about the word compassion and thinking about helping other people. Okay, well, I hope you enjoy the video.
And imagine what it would look like if the entire world was a village of just 100 people. In our global village, 50 people would be women and 50 men. A quarter of the village, 25 people, would be children under the age of 14. 66 villagers would be adults between the ages of 15 and 64, and the remaining 9 people would be over the age of 65. Looking at the world map, just 5 of our 100 villagers would come from North America. 9 would hail from Latin America and the Caribbean, 10 from Europe, 16 from Africa, and a whopping 60 people would be from Asia. Australia's population, even if you include the neighboring islands, wouldn't even add up to 1 person in our global village. Our 100 villagers would hold many different religious beliefs. We would have 31 Christians, 23 Muslims, 15 Hindus, and 7 Buddhists. All the other religions would be represented by 8 people, and 16 people wouldn't identify with any particular religion. We would be a polyglot village too, speaking many languages. Considering only native speakers, 12 people would speak Mandarin, the largest group. 6 would speak Spanish, 5 English, 4 Hindi, 3 would speak Arabic, 3 Bengali, and 3 Portuguese. 2 would speak Russian, 2 Japanese, and a significant majority, 60 people, would speak nearly 7,000 other languages. 2/3 of our village, which is 66 people, wouldn't have access to safe, affordable surgery, and 33 people wouldn't be able to afford the medicine they need. 9 people wouldn't have access to clean, safe drinking water. 14 wouldn't have access to toilets of any kind. 22 would have no shelter from the wind and rain. 1 villager would be dying of starvation, and another 11 would be undernourished. 22 would be overweight. 86 people in our village would be able to read and write, which means 14 would be illiterate. Of those 14, 2/3 would be women. Only 66 would finish high school, and of them, only 7 villagers would go on to hold a college degree. While 18 people wouldn't have access to electricity, only 5 would not have access to a cell phone network.
Well, welcome back. I hope you enjoyed that little video. And I wonder if there's anything that you noticed. What is it you noticed about some of those statistics, those figures about what the world was like if it was only 100 people? especially when we think about the word compassion, about helping others. Here's something I noticed. Only 66 of them had access to safe surgery. Now, I don't know if you've ever had an operation or had to go to hospital. It can be quite scary, and there are invasive procedures. You know, whatever happens, you know, you want to hope that, you know, that you're going to be safe and you're going to be healthy, and the doctors and the nurses and all the other staff there can help you out. In some countries, that is just not the case. You might be suffering from an illness for a long, long time, and then you haven't got the money to do it, or it's not even safe to do it. So, you know, we're very fortunate in this country. We have the National Health Service. But think about that. 33 of those people, if it was only 100 people in the world, couldn't afford medicine. Now, I have to have medicine every day. I go to the doctor and I have to pay for my prescription, and we can afford it. But all children get their prescriptions free. Did you know that? So if you get sick, you go to the doctor and you get some medicine for free. But that is not the case for many children in the world. They just don't have the money. It's either buy food or buy medicine, go hungry or get better. It's a choice people have to make. Now, another thing I noticed is that 9 of them have unclean drinking water. Now, I don't know about you, but some people don't like drinking water, do they? My little ones, they like to drink sugar-free black currant. But some people don't even have water that they can drink. They have to get it out of a river that might be infected with diseases and things like that. So we're very fortunate. But think about, you know, you get thirsty, we turn on the tap, we get the water, and we're refreshed. But over there, they have to walk miles, go to a dirty river, get the water out, have to boil it first. And if they can't boil it, they have to drink it dirty. So it's about die of thirst or die of sickness. It's terrible. Another thing, 14 of them have no access to proper toilets, clean toilets, proper sanitation. Now, I know we probably shouldn't talk about toilets too much, but, you know, I'm so grateful that we have them. Imagine if we had to, every time you needed to go to the loo, you had to go out and find a tree or dig a hole, and, you know, it gets a bit smelly, and all the diseases that go around, the flies, the mosquitoes, and then people get ill. Oh, we can take toilets for granted, but actually that's important. Now, 22 of those people had nowhere to live, no shelter, the rain, the wind, being open. Imagine that. You have to go to bed at night and you have to go in the garden and just make a little shelter for yourself every night. No, it's a terrible way to live. One of those people out of those 100, one person was starving to death. Now, we have lots of food in our house. Sometimes I feel hungry and I might say I'm starving, but really I'm not starving, because starving means you have nothing. And there's lots of things I don't like to eat, and I imagine there's things that you don't like to eat, like Brussels sprouts or broccoli or something like that. But some people don't even have that. There's nothing. 11 of those people just didn't have enough to eat. So you imagine you like your sandwich and you get that, oh, I don't like cheese, I'll get out the cheese, or oh, I'll eat later. They just don't even have the choices to have to choose something else. There's just not enough to eat. 14 of those people couldn't read or write. Now, I know some of you are learning to read and write, and it's important to do that because that's the way you access information and you learn and you grow in your mind, and it helps you to get jobs and things like that. But some people just can't read and write. They've never been taught. They've no access to school. Some of you might not like going to school, you know, but these people don't even get the choice. You know, it's important that we go to school so we can learn, and it helps us to grow and to become grown-ups. 18 of them have no electricity. Now, at night time, if you get scared, you can just put the light on, or if you want a cup of tea, just put the kettle on, or, you know, lots of things. We take electricity for granted, but they don't have that. They get up in the night, just dark, and they have to get used to it, stumble around in the darkness. Now, when we think about all those things, and we think about having compassion, what would it be like to have compassion for the world, the whole world? Now, you might get pocket money, you might not get pocket money, but whatever you get for your pocket money, or if you get some money from somebody, that bit of money is not going to sort out all those problems that I mentioned, is it? You know, if you get a pound is just a tiny little drop in the ocean, isn't it? But actually, if we choose something that we want to help people about, whether it's reading or water or food or electricity or an issue, we can think about how can we help in that, around that area. Maybe as a class, you could get together and decide, is there something we want to do to have compassion in the world? Maybe we could raise some money or raise awareness or kind of write to your MP or write a letter to the Prime Minister, Boris Johnson, and say, I care about this issue, whatever it is, because we've got compassion, we feel we want to help people. So together we can make a difference, whether it's you with your family or with your friends or your whole class, or maybe even your whole school. You can get together and choose a part of the world you're thinking, actually, this is something we could help the world with. You know, God has amazing compassion for the world. He loves the world. He made the world and he cares about it. Someone wrote this beautiful poem. It's called a psalm, the songs in the Bible. And he wrote these words: God is gracious and compassionate, slow to anger, rich in love. God is good to all. He has compassion on all he has made. God is full of compassion for the world. And you know what? God chooses you and me to be his hands and feet, to be his voice in the world, to go out and have compassion on the world, to show compassion, to show love and care, to raise money, to speak out against injustice, to do something to make the world a better place, to see it transformed to be the world that God wants it to be. And God chooses us to be part of that. You know, normally we finish with a prayer, and instead we're going to listen to a song, which is like a prayer. A song is called Whole World in His Hands, a prayer for the world. So as you watch this, you might recognize the tune, you might want to sing along to it, or you might just want to listen to it. But at the end, if you agree with it, say a big amen with me.
He's got the whole world in his hands. He's got the whole world in his hands.
He's got the whole world in his hands.
He's got the whole world in his hands.
सारी दुनिया को उसने थामा है.
Only there is that exhaustion. Seluruh dunia di tangannya, seluruh dunia di tangannya. 他将全世界掌握手中，有你爱的浪，敢干嘛呀？ He's got the whole world in his hands. He's got the whole world in his hands.
Trying to go in a world losing hope in life. Where can we go when it all falls down? Lord, we know you're here with us. You're not surprised, so in you we trust. Leading with your perfect love, so we won't fear. He's got the whole world in his hands. 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 Through times of grief, we can rest in your peace. We will stand and believe that our God is good. Lord, we know you're here with us. You're not surprised, so in you we trust.
Leading with your perfect love, so we won't fear.
He's got the whole world in his hands. 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 Anxiety can visit in this life that we're living. With prayer and petition, we're asking you to be with us. There's a future for every one of your children. We know you're close, you're not distant.
So know that you're with me, you're near me, you're for me.
And I know that you're listening and leading and loving. And I pray that you'll hear me and free me and carry.
And I know that you're with me, you're near me, and you're for me.
My weakness and my trouble,
When it's dark
When I'm lonely, console me. When I'm searching and I'm hurting, oh, I know that you're with me and you're near me and you're for me. Waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. Waymaker, miracle
Light in the darkness.
my God, that is who you are.
Kau Tuhan pemberi jalan.
Promise keeper, light in the darkness. New bills, it's taking the west. Waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. That is who you are. That is who you are.
这就是你。
That is who you are. That is who you are. It's that King of the West. In His hands He got the whole world. In His hands He got the whole world.
In His hands is not your world. In His hands is got the whole world.
In His hands He's got the whole world in His hands.
And everybody said, Amen. Well, that's it for your assembly this week. I hope you've enjoyed it and hope you learned something, and go out and be compassionate for the world. And if I don't see you soon, I'll see you next time. Have a great half term. Bye.